Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be shopping my stash and I'm going to be pulling out a bunch of products that I have not used in a really long time. I'm going to give you guys my opinion on them. I wasn't planning on doing this eyeshadow look. It's technically not eyeshadow. It's not, but whatever. So I just kind of started having fun and it turned into a bronzy makeup look. It is what it is. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the makeup look shopping my stash. I have already applied my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. I'm going to pull out a foundation that I haven't used in a minute. I hope it'll match me. It should. This is the Givenchy. It's in COUTURE Everwear. I used to really like this. I have not worn it for a long time. I'm gonna like softly stipple this in. This is it's a softer matte finish, but I remember really liking this, especially if I did a really good prep before. It has really good coverage on it, and I really liked this for being a soft matte finish. I really liked it, and as you can see, a little bit of it goes a really long way. I mean, I've been able to drag whatever I put down here all over the face. I recommend going in real lightly with a tiny bit. You can see that has completely spread all over my skin. Yeah, this looks pretty. It looks almost so pretty. Like, I don't necessarily need to go over top of it with my sponge, but I will. So I'm gonna take whatever is left on my hand on the sponge and really push it into my skin. Now, the concealer I wanted to use, I have not used in a while. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Radiant Concealer, and a lot of my friends really like this. So I'm excited to pull it back out. I think I've only used this a few times, so I really don't remember how I like it and if I like it and all of that. I have this one in the shade 3W Medium Warm. So I'm gonna just put some here. It has a nice big doe foot. I'm gonna go ahead and blend this out with my brush. Now, typically what I like to do is kind of wipe off the applicator and then go over top with what's on the applicator. So it looks like I'm applying a lot, but it's not. It's just that I like to drag my concealer down into this area. And in order for me to do that, I kind of have to make that triangle. But you also have to be careful not to put too much concealer on the wand. I'm 41 years old, almost 41. I can't go in with one big glob of concealer and, because I've seen YouTubers where they have a big glob of it and they will just, and they'll make like this huge triangle with all of that concealer, and it's just way too much for my dry little under eyes. So I'm gonna go in and press this in with the sponge, just to kind of get rid of the brush marks and stuff like that. That's pretty, and it is radiant. It's a really thick formula though, so I can see how this one could possibly you could get this too thick and it wouldn't look good. So I recommend going in with a very thin layer, maybe something like what I did, meaning I wipe off the applicator. So here's the applicator, I wipe off. And then whatever's on that sponge part of the applicator is what I use to apply it. For those of you guys that watched my worst of 2019, guess what friend we have joining us today? Say hello to my bag of Funyuns. I love Funyuns. Am I the only one that loves Funyuns? They are so good. So next up, I'm gonna go into the Huda Beauty. This is the Tantour Contour and Bronzer Cream. I have it in the shade Light. And the key to this is it has this little thing on it. Keep this on it because it'll dry out if you don't. I like it. I think it's a really good product. But I prefer my Charlotte Tilbury and my KKW Beauty Cream Contour over this product. But this is a nice product. It kind of dries to a more of a mattifying finish, but it doesn't buff away like the Fenty what are those called? The matchsticks. The matchsticks just fade away for me. I don't know why, but they do. As I keep blending and buffing, I'm like, okay, where to go? These don't do that. So I'm going to use my Refer number 17 brush, which is my favorite brush to apply any of my cream contours. I chose light. And what I like to do is just take a little bit that's on the brush and go on both sides because just a little bit of this goes so far. And I'm going to bring whatever's left up here, and then I will add as I need to. But I want to get everything that's on the brush off the brush before I start buffing it out. It's a really pretty product. It blends out good. I do like this. I definitely prefer the Charlotte Tilbury and the KKW Beauty, but if for some reason you don't want to buy those two, this is a nice option if you're looking for a good cream contour. What bronzer was I wanting to use? Okay, hold. I gotta go get my bronzer. Oh, the findings are so good. I'm gonna take my Marc Jacobs bronzer. This is in the shade Tantastic. It's the Omega bronzer. And I like this bronzer. I don't use it a lot, but I like it. The reason why I don't use it is because I love the Fenty bronzer formula more than this one, and that's the reason why I don't use it. So there you go. Go over top of the contour. What I do like the shade of this bronzer for is like on those days where I'm not really gonna wear a lot of makeup, this is the perfect shade to put in the crease for a transition, just to kind of shape the eye. It's a decent color, it really is. If you're much darker than me, I don't know that this will work for you, but I like the formula. The formula is very soft. It has a very soft texture to it. Now we're gonna move on to some blush. And for blush, I don't know what to use, to be honest with you. Maybe I should use a little bit of this Bloomy Bloom. I think I will. Such a beautiful palette. This shade looks crazy, but it's not. Okay, I'm gonna take this brush. It's just a nice, it's a nice blush brush. And I'm gonna grab a tiny bit of this. You wanna grab just a little bit, you guys. And I'm gonna kind of do this with it. So I've laid a product down, okay, on both sides. I've wiped the brush. Now I'm gonna use the brush to blend it out. That's my preferred way of using this. Let me just say this. This palette will last you probably your lifetime because you only need a little teeny bit of it because it's super duper duper pigmented. I'm gonna grab a tiny bit of this peachy shade. Again, don't go in too heavy with this. Okay, so you can see I just kind of tapped. Now I'm gonna wipe the brush off and then I'm gonna go in and blend it out. That's just the only way I can use that product without looking like a clown. Okay. I'm gonna grab the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Charlotte's Genius Magic Powder, Under Eye and Face Powder. So I'm gonna use this one. And I'm gonna tap a little bit down into the tub. I like this powder, but I don't love it because the smell, it's really talky and it smells so strong. Like I almost choke to death when I'm applying. I don't know, anyway. So I'm gonna take my Master Face Brush from Sonia G, which is the best powder brush ever. And I'm just gonna start doing this buffing motion over top of everything. This is a thicker powder than my Hourglass. This one, I would say, is not as dry skin friendly as the Hourglass powder. It does give the skin a very beautiful sheen to it, like a tiny bit of shimmer. You can see it just a tiny bit. See how this, like this part of my face compared to this? And it does look really pretty. It just is super strong for a scent. It just is. It's really strong. I wish the scent wasn't so strong. You know what it reminds me of? It's gagging me. But you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the, okay, so I don't know if your grandma was like this, but my grandma used to have this little tub of powder with a powder puff. And it was like a fragrance powder. Like you would get a set and it had like lotion and perfume. And it always came with a powder puff. And it was a fragranced powder. That's what it reminds me of. Not super fragrance like those, but it does have a fragrance and it's strong. And I am not a huge fan of it. So for this part of my face, you guys know I like to use my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder. But I think I'm gonna use this from Becca. I haven't used this for a long, long time. It's called this Hydra Mist Set and Refresh Powder. I don't know. We'll see what it does. So it's got this little net, which is kind of cool. I'm gonna stick it right there where I normally apply my Schwallet powder, but I don't know if that made any difference. Yeah, no, that didn't make any difference. Okay, maybe that's not what that's for. Maybe this is for the all over the face. For highlighter, I'm gonna grab my Scott Barnes palette. I haven't used this for a minute. I'm gonna grab the Twilight Sands. The formula, some of the best on the market. Seriously, some of the best. And he created these palettes for makeup artists because you're gonna have a wide variety of shades that will work for a wide variety of skin tones. And for the everyday makeup user at home, I don't know that you're gonna get a lot of use out of this. Me personally, I can only wear 2 shades in the palette, and it's these 2 right here. It's only 2 shades I can wear. I can't wear the rest of these shades. So for that reason, I don't think the entire palette is worth it. I kind of wish that maybe he would have came out with them separately, but he is selling to makeup artists. Like, his fans are makeup artists, and I get it. Like, he is going to accommodate makeup artists, and you know, maybe having a few shades, like the more popular skin shades, you know, to sell separately, packaged or whatever, would be really great for the everyday user. But the actual formula, it'll blow your socks off. It's so pretty. I mean, look at that. It's pretty. What I like about it is that it just melts into the skin like so beautifully, and it's fabulous. It's a fabulous palette. Let me check everything out. The foundation looks really good. Like, really good over my wrinkles and my texture. I think the powder kind of grabbed onto it in a few places that are not so appealing, but yeah. Anyway, okay, so as I spoke earlier, I like to use this bronzer in the crease and kind of just use it as that transition. So I'm gonna do that. I've been wanting to use this palette as an eyeshadow for a really long time, and I've never done it. This is the Dior Glow Face Palette. I think this is one of the prettiest from Dior. Particularly this peachy shade is so pretty. So I felt like kind of just doing something very simple, very beautiful, but kind of incorporating this face palette as eyeshadow, especially because I rarely use this bronzy shade, but how beautiful that bronzy shade would be for eyeshadow. So if you guys have this palette at home, and this is just a shade that you just can't use, let's try using it today as eyeshadow. I'm kind of excited about it. So I'm going to take a bigger fluffy brush. This is my Sonia G Blender Pro. And I'm going to grab some of the bronzer here. And I'm just going to start using the bronzer to build some dimension in my crease. And if I need to go in with it a little bit darker, I can go in with like just a neutral shade, but I'm gonna start with this first. With bronzer, you can kind of get away with a lot because it just becomes kind of like more of a contour versus an eyeshadow. With eyeshadow, you know, you got to be a little bit more precise with it, but with a bronzer, you can just go directly in and just start applying it. So we're gonna see how dark we can get it. We have that done, I'm gonna take a smaller brush. I'm gonna grab this bronzy shade right here at the bottom of the palette, go kind of right at the base of my crease with this. Oh, that's so pretty. So the reason why I went in with a bronzer first is because I didn't want to have to build the dimension with that bronzy shade. I just wanted that bronzy shade to kind of go over top of the bronzer and kind of bring a little bit of that shimmer to the contours of the eyelid, but not necessarily have to build it. So I'm gonna go into this shade right here. It's such a beautiful shade. Oh my gosh, is it pretty? Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. So I'm just gonna kind of put this all over the lid and like blend it out with my finger. Yes. So that will be kind of the base. Next, I'm gonna go in with this shade right here, the top one. I'm gonna go in with my finger, just put it right there at the base, and then kind of bringing it up. Oh, that's so pretty, isn't it? I knew this would be pretty as eyeshadow. I've been wanting to do this for a while. They're so soft. And like I said, this is, you know, this one has a little bit of glitter. And for the face, I normally don't like glitter, but it's so finely milled that I think it's beautiful. Now to finalize things, I'm gonna take this top shade right here and just go boom right there, right above my pupil, just to give it a little bit of that. So I basically just layered all three of them and it's stunning. I'm gonna take this shade right here and take a small little tiny brush. This is the detailed lip brush from Sigma. It's the LO4. And I'm gonna place it here on the inner corner. So pretty, right? Such a fun kind of easy look. All right, I'm gonna take this nude pencil. I forgot I don't have any more nude eyeliner pencils, so I'm gonna use this one from Sephora. It's actually a brow enhancer, but it's a nude pencil. So I'm gonna use this right on the base of my lower lash line. I'm gonna take a brown eyeliner and go up on the upper waterline. This is the perfect eye makeup for a wing. So I'm gonna first start kind of looking straight ahead at my mirror and then kind of carve out where I want it, kind of create a little bit of that shadow and then wing it out. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put on some mascara and probably put on some lashes because I just don't think my lashes are strong enough to be on their own yet. They're still crawling around the room. They're not ready to walk yet. So I will put some lashes on and I will be right back. Okay, for lips, I went ahead and just went over top of my lips with my Beauty Blender. I am going to grab my Charlotte Tilbury and contour my lips. Like these two are kind of perfect for this eyeshadow look. I think I might grab this. This one is the Artist Couture in the shade Saucy Gal. That's kind of perfect, isn't it? So this is the final look and I think everything turned out really good. The concealer, it's not my favorite. It's just not my favorite. I like it, but I would say this is a decent concealer, but I feel like I have other concealers in my collection that I think I like more. So there's that. I think everything else that I used in the video, I think I kind of explained how I felt about them as I applied them. It was really fun using this palette on my eyes today, and it was just kind of something fun and simple and just easy. I did throw on some Kiss Ritzy eyelashes, and there you go. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this Shop My Stash with me and my bag of Funyuns. They came to join the party and I'm glad they arrived. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I hope each one of you stays safe and healthy. I love you all so much and I will see you guys all in my next video. Love you. Bye.